regarding the George Floyd / BLM riots starting in May of 2020, 4 months long. They're in the streets because of an assumption that what happened to George Floyd had to do with his race. The lead prosecutor was a black man. Opening statement, I'm a lawyer. The most important part of a trial is the opening statement. In his opening statement, he took pains to say police in general are not on trial. The Minneapolis PD in general is not on trial. This individual is on trial. In fact, he said the police are doing a good job. They have to make split decisions, life and death, in a very short period of time. This individual is on trial for what he did or what he didn't do. And he was never even charged with a hate crime. Yet most people are out in the streets because of the assumption that what happened to George Floyd had to do with his race. There's a website called policemag.com, my last point. And people who are self-described as very liberal were asked, how many unarmed black men did the police kill in 2019? 50% of the self-described very liberal people thought the police killed 1,000 unarmed black men in 2019. 8% thought they killed 10,000.
Wow.
What did the regular self-described liberal people think? 39% of them thought the police killed 1,000 unarmed black men in 2019. 5% thought they killed 10,000. The answer, according to the Washington Post database, was 12.
Yeah.
That's the gap between what they think is going on and the reality. No wonder you're out in the street. I'd be out in the street if I thought the police killed 10,000 black men, unarmed black men every day.
I think Ben Shapiro said the same thing. He was like, man, I think Ben was like, I would be protesting with you if I thought the police were doing this.
They're clueless. And again, the point is that the lead prosecutor, a black man, never even implied that what Derek Chauvin did had anything to do with George Floyd's race.
There's a man on the street video where someone uses that data and asks, young black students at a college, how many, black men are shot every year. And they're shocked when they find the number is 12. But there's one guy in particular who argues with him. He's like, really? Only 12? Well, why don't we say like 100? He's like, no, we can't say 100. The number is 12.
Well, round it up to 100.
And it's like this thing where the guy just cannot accept it, so he asks to compromise on the number. But the number is...
And by the way, unarmed does not mean not dangerous.
Yeah.
Michael Brown was unarmed, but he had just done a strong arm robbery. His DNA was found on the officer's gun. So it does not mean you're perceived as dangerous. Remember a few years ago, that guy named Amadou Diallo, immigrant, was cornered because he fit the description. Police said, show your hands, show your hands. He goes and reaches into his wallet, and they thought he was reaching for a gun. They blew him away. Hillary called these 4 officers murderers. A multi-ethnic jury found all 4 officers not guilty because the gesture was reasonably perceived as threatening. So just because you're not unarmed doesn't mean you're not dangerous. So even the number 12 is probably even smaller than that.
Mm-hmm. We have had conservatives come on this show, and I have talked about the Ahmaud Arbery case, and they did not know the details of this case. They still thought it was a guy jogging.
Right.
You had, when the McMichaels were convicted, and I forgot the other guy's name. I should probably learn his name, to be honest. The guy who simply filmed it also went to prison. You had high-profile, prominent conservatives say something to the effect of, this proves conservatives aren't racist, as if to imply this time, with Ahmaud Arbery, it actually was a racist attack. When in reality, the issue at hand found in the court was not whether or not there was a hate crime committed. It was whether or not, while we all agree Ahmaud Arbery was in the act of committing a felony, the question is, did the McMichaels have a right to stop him? Mm-hmm. And the jury found the McMichaels did not have a right to stop the man who we believe was committing a felony, because they did not witness the felony themselves. So any subsequent action was their responsibility. Ahmaud Arbery confronting them, trying to grab the shotgun from, I believe it's Travis McMichael. The shotgun goes off a couple times in the fight. Ahmaud Arbery takes it to the chest and dies. They are criminally responsible because they should not have. And fair point, they were told not to. Mm-hmm. However, I've had conservatives come on the show and say, oh, it wasn't those white guys chased on a black guy who was jogging? And I'm like, my friend,
but
did you read the story?
But the jogging story got told over and over. It was the headline. He might have been jogging, like all the time. It's William Bryan is the man who videotaped.
William Bryan. Despite the fact that police had evidence of him burglarizing a home, that the police had gone door to door and say, this is the guy we believe is burglarizing the home, right, and that a gun had been stolen. So when someone said, hey, it's that guy again, the McMichaels got in their car and chased after him, called the police. The police said, do not follow. They should not have followed.